So I want to address that for like a second there because obviously Aaron tests positive for COVID on Wednesday. And there's like this uproar that's going to occur because it comes out that he's unvaccinated. The entire team knew, the entire league knew, protocols are being followed except for the press conferences. But as we've talked about, it's not happening in other teams anyway, neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Aaron Rodgers goes on the Pat McAfee Show for over 45 minutes and kind of just spills out kind of his thoughts on why he's not vaccinated, NFL protocols, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that sparked off another storm in which it became vax versus anti-vax. It became talking about like who Aaron Rodgers is as an individual, what have you. Yeah. And that I felt so bad because as soon as that interview ended, I got the notification. It's like, oh, Matt LaFleur is doing a press conference.
Yeah.
And it was this guy's birthday this week. It was his
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, coach. Man. And there was attempts for Devontae. There was attempts with Jordan. There was attempts with Coach where it was kind of like trying to get their take, right, on what Aaron had said. And basically, whether it was Coach saying like, I'm not going to watch it, we're focused on like the Chiefs and the game on Sunday, or you have like Devontae saying like that's his business, what have you.
Yeah.
Just something like this, which involves a member of your team and something that is bigger than football. And at this point has like encompassed the entire like media.
Yeah.
Right. Is this something that you think like brings the locker room closer together because it's so insulated? Do you think that this is something that like people can try to like tear us apart and make us go after Aaron or what have you, and we're just going to remain like resilient? Kind of like, where are you at in terms of what you've seen on this squad?
Yeah, I think for us as a team, like I think it will have zero effect on us. Like we're just gonna show up, go to work, play football, try to win games, and move on like week to week. I think like this was just like a matter of time, like for him to let it all out, and I think he was like pretty. I would say he was reserved even a little bit for some of the NFL protocol type stuff, and I think that amongst everything, there were just a few different like talking points that got blended together where like if it was separated maybe a little bit more in different segments, people wouldn't have just thrown it all together. But I don't know. It was I really enjoyed watching it, and like I enjoy like him explaining himself and like talking about things like that. So for me, it was like, oh, like other people get to see a little more like insight into how things are working and like maybe what we agreed to as a union and maybe what we didn't.
Sure.
Maybe we showed up and it was just kind of, hey, this is the way it's going to be. Didn't know this was agreed upon. I don't know. There are a lot of other things out there that I'm sure will be circled back on at the end of the season as far as like NFL and protocols and stuff. But I think like maybe in tune of, I don't know. I don't think it'll do anything for our team. Like we're a good group. Like we work well together. We obviously enjoy having each other around, and people support the hell out of Aaron. Like he's such a good teammate. He's a great leader. And I think the main problem that I had with everything yesterday were people trying to tear him down for his character when he was just giving you his like opinion on stuff. Like,
sure.
Like whether you like his argument or not, whatever side you're on, or if you're halfway in, halfway out, it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't think you can start making up narratives and tearing down someone's character and describing what type of teammate he is when like you're not even his teammate. Like we all would pick him over any other person to be our leader. Like and that's just like I could like pretty proudly say that across the room. So that's my opinion on everything.
Yeah, I mean, like at some point, and I know you and I had a conversation before this, but talking about like one, like the nuanced conversation, and everything did like bleed together.
Yeah.
So because of that, there's no more nuance, right? And I talked about this yesterday, and talking about like there was parts of things that Aaron Rodgers I agreed with, and like I was like, hey, like this is a good point. Like when you're talking about sitting in the car for 40 minutes, like because you're unvaxxed and like waiting for your test, but someone who also can carry it goes right in, like that doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense, right? There's no consistency there. But if you look at, in terms of things like I disagreed with him about, at the end of the day, this was his opinion, know, you could support it, you could not support it, what have you. When you start, like you said, focusing on the team and going, well, this is how he is as a teammate, but you're not in the locker room.
Yeah.
That's when,
maybe
there's a little fire.
Yeah, there are a lot of like, I don't know, like I don't know if I said this before or during, but like he's a person that like he's only like he'll be prepared for whatever argument he wants to get into. Like he doesn't just pick random things that he wants to be like vocal about or whatever. But like this was going to come up and he had to like be ready for it. But like he just doesn't he's not a person that just makes decisions just because. Like, he wants to know like reasons behind it, and like, as I feel like anybody should, like, you shouldn't just blindly sign any contract.
Sure.
Like, it's the same principle, but yeah, this I was kind of like, I don't know. I hope that from this though, it sparks other conversations that are actually productive, like from people that are on both sides of the argument. And in general, like, I think one of the biggest points that I appreciated that he brought up was like the focus on health, and like diet and like those types of things. I think aren't like talked about enough. As I don't know, and just in general in life, there are other arguments that get brushed under the rug. Just COVID v like vax v non-vax. Like, I'm
Sure.
vaccinated. Like, it was pretty much a job requirement. Like, I was going to get vaccinated. I had to. If I didn't play football, like the life that I live, I don't do anything. Like, don't know if I would have gotten vaccinated, to be completely honest. Like,
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, like, I play video games. Like, I make content. Like, I'm at home all the time. Like, I stick with my family, and that's about it.
Sure.
Didn't really. I don't know. Just there. You have to remember, there's a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life that have had a lot of different upbringings and different things that they've
Sure.
been exposed to, and just like, I think just in general, like broadening people's scope of acceptance and of different ways of doing things, like, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, you would hope
Yeah.
that as we get like more along as a society, that we go down that route of like learning more and being open to more conversations.
And I think, like, when it comes to like, if you're not harming other people, like,
Yeah.
it's your decision, and like, cool, like,
Yeah.
great, like, and I think you're 100% correct, because
Yeah.
the headline has become vax versus anti-vax,
Yeah.
right? And Rogers can decide whatever he wants to put into
Yeah.
his body, what have you. Um,
Yeah.
but then, like you said, like, those other nuanced arguments or those other, conversations get kind of just
Yeah.
umbrellaed